Let's apply to Pacific Northwest College of Art. We'll start on the Oregon Goes to College website. From the College Info menu tab, choose Apply to College. That'll take us to a page that has some really good information about what we need to do to prepare to fill out the applications, including a list of documents or materials that we may need to gather in order to complete the forms, and some tips and tricks on how to be successful when we're ready to sit down and do so. Now, I already know that today I'm planning to apply to PNCA, and I've gathered all of the materials that I'm going to need in order to fill out the form. And so I'm scrolling down to a table that has a list of all of the colleges in the state. I'm going to choose independent not-for-profit universities to find Pacific Northwest College of Art. And when I click on this link, it will take me directly to their website and to the page on their website that starts the application process. So there's a note here to let us know that this is an opportunity to really share our creativity and technical skills and let them know who we are and what we're about as they are reading our application, and also some information about who we can contact if we have questions as we're going through the process. So go ahead and go to the application. And now I am noticing that there are a few different applications that are available, and it asks me if I'm not sure which one is for me. I can click on this link and it'll send an email, and they'll help me figure that out. But I'm planning to graduate in the spring of 2021 and start college the fall immediately after. And so I know that I want to complete the fall 2021 application for a BFA or a Bachelor of Fine Arts. So I'll scroll down and find that I need to first create an account. I'm a first-time user. I don't have an account with PNCA, so I'm going to go ahead and create the account. And I'll start by providing my email address, which is the email address I'm using for all of my college materials. And I'm checking it at least twice a week so that I can make sure that I'm staying on top of everything that I need to do. I'm also going to provide my first and last name, and I'm making sure that these are my legal names. So these are the names that are on all of my legal documents. So my high school transcripts, my driver's license if I have one, but just making sure that that's my legal first name. I'll probably have the opportunity to share a nickname that I prefer to go by if I have one of those later. I'm going to share my birth date, and then go ahead and click continue. And now I need to check my email because I have a temporary PIN that has been sent to my email, and I'm going to head up. I've already pulled up my email, and so I'm going to check that. I don't see it here, but I had noticed that there was a note saying check my junk mail, and here I can see in the promotions tab. So if you're using Gmail, this may happen to you. In the promotions tab, I do have a message from PNCA, and I'll go ahead and click on that. And I have a temporary pin here, and I'm going to copy that using my keyboard and click to activate my account. And so it's asking for my temporary PIN, and I can paste that in and provide my birth date one more time. And let's see what that does. So I need to create a new password, and of course there are some instructions about what that needs to be. And I know I didn't get that. Okay. And I'm all set. I'm going to make sure that I write that password down in a safe, secure place. And so before I do too much else, and I'll set the password. And I think I can go ahead and get started. So I'm scrolling down and I see that there's a link to start my new application. And now's when I get to choose which type I want, and we'll remember that I had been looking at the undergraduate fall 2021. Go ahead and create the application. And it's in progress, and so I can now open the application. Before I get started, I want to just get a lay of the land of this particular application. And so I noticed that there are on the left-hand side several different pages or sections that I will be needing to complete. And so that will help me know how close I am to being done as I go through. And so let's go ahead and start answering the questions. So first, this first set of questions is about what we're planning to do and a little bit about who we are in our relationship to college. So I am planning to be a full-time student at PNCA, and I will be coming in as a first-time freshman, and so I will choose that. And they're asking what I am interested in majoring in. So, of course, as you know, PNCA is a college of art, and so these are all art majors. And I have so many different interests that I'm not quite sure, and I'm going to choose undecided. But if you know, for example, that you're particularly interested in creative writing or photography, you have one thing that you're really excited about, you should definitely feel free to click that. But if you are unsure, like me, you could choose undecided. This question, am I the first in my family to attend college? For me, the answer is yes. Let's see what happens if we were to say no. They aren't going to ask any additional questions, so you'll just choose the one that is correct and accurate for you. And I have never attended a summer school program for arts in California, so I will go ahead and say no to that and click continue. And so as you can see, we're moving down into now the personal profile section. So that's where we're going to be able to track that. And we can go ahead and begin to fill this out. Now I can leave things blank if I want to, but here we'll go ahead and choose. They've filled in the information from my name here. If you did not provide your legal name or your given name, you'll want to make sure that you make that change now. But I did, and so I'm going to leave that, add my middle name. I don't have a suffix, but if you do, that is when you have something like junior or senior or a number after your name. So you'll want to choose that if you have one of those. And here's where I have the opportunity to enter my preferred first name. So what I want them to call me. And also if I have any other last names that I've ever used, I can provide those here. So if, for example, I have ever had another last name because I was adopted or my family changed our name for some reason, I would enter a previous name there. And that is so that they can match up different parts of my application to each other. In case, for example, somebody writes a letter of recommendation and they use a different name for me, a former name for me. Now it's time to enter our addresses, and they actually are looking for two different types of addresses, which might be the same for you. They're looking for both our permanent residence address and our mailing address. One is where we live most of the time, and the other is where we want our mail to come to. So I'm going to start with where I live, and the second line is a good place to add an apartment number if you have one. And choose my state and zip code. Now I happen to want my mail to come to the same place. I have the same mailing address and permanent residence, so I can click on this and it will fill that in for me. But if you want your mail to come to a different place than where you are living, you would just fill this in with that other address. Another option here is to insert an address. So if you have a third address that you either live at or you want your mail to come. So for example, if you want mail to come to two different addresses because you live with both of your parents in different homes and you want mail to come to both of those places, you could click insert address and you would enter that address there and leave that as a mailing address, and you would have now 3 addresses in their system. I don't have that, so I'm going to go ahead and press delete and remove that and pretend like I never did it. Here I have the opportunity to check my email address that I provided when I created my account. If I want to change that, I could do that here, but this is the email address that I wanted to use. And now I have the option to share my telephone numbers, and they're looking for what's the best way to reach you during the day, during the evening, or what's your mobile phone number. And if you have more than one phone number, you can certainly fill in as much of this as you would like, or as many of them as you would like, or as many phone numbers as you have. I just have the one, and it's my cell phone, and so I am going to only complete this mobile number. Now they are asking me to include the country code, and the country code for the United States is 1. So it's 1 and then whatever your phone number is. And so you'll want to make sure that you include that because they're asking for it specifically. And now they're looking for some information about sex and gender, and so I'll go ahead and make those choices for myself, and you'll want to choose the ones that are correct for you. And they already have my birth date, again, from back when I registered for the account, and so I'll just want to double check that that's correct. It is, and I can move on. Citizenship information is you do not need to be a U.S. citizen in order to attend college in the United States, but you should share your citizenship with them because they're asking for it. And so you should do that. So if the United States is correct for you, you'll go ahead and choose that. If it's not, choose the one that is correct for you. And if you hold dual citizenship, so you have citizenship in more than one country, you can choose a second country here. I don't, so I'm going to leave it blank, but as you can see, you can just scroll down and choose any other country you might have citizenship with. And then they're going to ask me for my Social Security number. If you are a U.S. citizen or permanent resident and you are applying for financial aid using a FAFSA, you definitely want to make sure that you include your Social Security number here because this is how they're going to connect your financial aid application to your admissions application. So you will want to do that. A question about veterans benefits. If you have a connection with the military and you have access to veterans benefits, you'll want to say yes to this question, but for me the answer is no. And if you had them, so do you see how a box went away? So when it said yes, I had the option then, if the answer was yes, to type in what those benefits are. I don't, so I'm going to say no, and move on to the race and ethnicity questions. These are optional. They're interested in having some information about how I identify, and so I'm going to go ahead and answer these. You do not have to if you don't want to or you are uncomfortable. You also have the option to say prefer not to disclose if you would like to answer but not. You can also just leave it blank. I'm going to go ahead and press continue. And so here is something that might happen to you. This address is one that they think isn't real. So they've got a computer system that says this address doesn't seem quite right. I know that it is, and so I'm going to go ahead and skip validation. But if I were to look at that and say, maybe you're right, that isn't quite correct, I could click fix address and it would take me back to edit that. But I'll go ahead and skip. And it's asking me to do that one more time to confirm, and so when I do, it allows me to go through. And I'm moving on to education and transcripts. This is asking me about where I have gone to school, and this is asking about all academic institutions that I've attended, and so that means both high schools and colleges. If you have any college credits that you've earned by attending a college, you'll want to share that, or any high schools that you've gone to. So let's go ahead and add institution, and we can start typing, and it is looking to see if it can find that for me, and there we go. I found my high school. and I want to make sure I go to Corvallis High School. And if I had clicked this one, it would have pulled up Corvallis High School in Corvallis, Montana, and I want the one in Oregon, and so I'm going to choose that. If you go to a school that there's more than one of that name in the country, you'll want to check to make sure that you're choosing the correct one here, just like I'm about to do. And it fills in some information about about my high school, where it's located. And now they're interested in knowing when I enrolled, and that was, so how long have I attended? I started in September of 2017, and I'm going to graduate in June of 2021, and that is high school. They're interested in knowing what degree I have, and I'm going to earn my high school diploma. And it's asking when I've received it, and I haven't yet, but it will be in June of 2021, again, when I graduate. And so it's okay to say, to look into the future. Interested in my GPA, and I will add that and what that is out of. And so at my school, that's out of a 4.0. If you have a different scale, you'll share that here. And now I am being asked to submit my transcript, and I am submitting an unofficial transcript, so a printout or maybe a PDF of that transcript. So a scanned page or a PDF, and you may be able to get that from your high school. So you'll want to check in with somebody in your high school, your counselor or an Aspire mentor or a Gear Up coordinator or your registrar, somebody who can help you find access to your transcript if you don't know how to get that. And going to go ahead and pull that up here and share it. Okay, so I pulled that up by clicking on Browse, and it took me to my computer files and allowed me to choose the Olivia transcript. And so I did that. I do want to make a note that it's important to read through all of the different information here so that you know that you are sharing the correct transcript for you. Once you've done that and you've pulled the transcript up, you can go ahead and say Save. And if you have additional high schools, so if you've transferred high schools and you need to share another high school that you've attended, you can click Add Institution, or if you have any colleges that you want to enter, you'll click Add Institution and you'll go through the exact same process, including uploading transcripts from each of those as well. And click Continue. Okay, we're on to the portfolio section. And because PNCA is an art school, they are asking us to submit a portfolio of our work, and we're required to submit somewhere between 10 and 15 images of our visual artwork. And this is the page on which we can do that. And it's giving us quite a few instructions about how to go about doing it, and lets us know that it could take some time to go through this process. So you'll want to read the instructions and then scroll down and you can find the different file types that it will accept. And then you can, as you scroll down, you'll find the place where you can enter your files. You can also upload links, and so let's see what happens when we go there. If we have a link to video or something or images that we've created, we can enter that information, the URL for that here. I don't have that. I just have a few files that I want to upload. I'm not going to upload all 15, but I will upload a few just to show how that works. I've opened a folder on my computer and I'm dragging them over and going to just enter or drop them here, and I can then start the upload, and it is processing that. And so I can go ahead and say OK, and you can see now I have those all in my portfolio. And I can click, and I'll want to make sure that I submit at least 7 more and up to 12 more. I'll go ahead and click Continue. And I'm onto my creative writing portfolio. So again, This is, I'm applying to an art school with a creative writing program, and they're asking me to provide some creative writing, anywhere between 5 and 10 pages, and it needs to be in a PDF format. So I need to make sure that I am again going to choose a file from my computer. And if you are on a shared computer and you don't have files saved to your computer, you maybe are sharing them from a thumb drive. But you'll just want to make sure that you have all of these in one location where you can upload. And so if I'm not able to upload, then I can copy and paste my document here. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that to show what that looks like. So I'm going to go through, copy, and paste here, and you'll want to make sure that you do that again, remember, 5 to 10 pages, and go ahead and upload. And that takes me onto my artist statement or my essay. Now this is not required, but it is strongly encouraged, and so this is your statement of your artistry. And again, you can find that file as a PDF and browse and select that there, or you can copy and paste your document here, and so that's what I'm going to do. So I have already preloaded that as well. I'm going to copy and paste and upload, and it's taking me onto this page, Disclosures and Acknowledgments. And this is the opportunity to share additional information that they're wanting to know, and this disclosures piece is about whether or not we have any disciplinary infractions or have any sort of convictions for crimes. And for me, the answer is no, but you'll want to choose the answer that is honest for you. As in every part of your application, your goal is to be honest. It is unlikely that you would not be admitted for answering yes to one of these questions, but answering no and having that not be a truthful answer is a reason for you not to be admitted. So the first one is about disciplinary violations at school, and the second is about criminal convictions. Then you have the opportunity to share what other colleges you are applying to. You do not have to share this information, and I'm not going to choose to do so, but if you choose to share that information, you would just type it here just like that. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. Now we have the opportunity to make some acknowledgments, and these are statements that we want to read, understand, agree with, and once we've done all of those things, check the box to say that I've read and I understand and I agree. And so it includes things like everything I've said in this application is true, everything I submit becomes property of the college and is going to remain confidential, that once I submit, I can't make any changes, and that if I discover at some point that I have been dishonest by accident or that I haven't provided the accurate materials, that I will contact the Office of Admissions as soon as possible. And so once I've clicked those, I can continue. Now I'm signing to say that those things were in fact true. And I am typing my full legal name and confirm. And it's letting me know that there are some errors. So it is saying, nope, you don't have all of your submissions for your portfolio. And it's asking me to just consider completing optional disclosures. And so this was the one about which other colleges I'm applying to. So red means you can't move on without doing this correctly, and orange means think about it. So for orange, I'm not going to go back and do that. I could if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. For red, of course, I can't move on until I do. So I can click the red button, and it takes me back to my portfolio and the option to upload. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. offline and we'll be back shortly. Okay, so I have uploaded them and then I was able to just click back to the review page and you can see that that error has gone away. It does take some time or can take some time for things to upload, so it can take up to hours if you have very large files, and so just keep that in mind as you are working on your application, that part of it might take a little bit of time. Then I'm ready. I'm ready to submit. And when I click this submit button, I have applied to Pacific Northwest College of Art. And when you click your submit button, you have too. Congratulations.